Hello, everyone. This is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Lisa Copeland. Lisa is a dating coach, and she focuses specifically on women over 50. So I'd love to welcome you to the show, Lisa. Hi.
Hi, Margaret. It's so good being here. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
you're welcome. I'm so glad to have you here because, as you know, we've got 46,000 women now in our community over 60.
Oh, yeah.
And, we've talked about this in the past that, dating over 50 is one thing, dating over 60 is another thing.
It
So,
can be.
so we have to start somewhere. And I thought I would come to the expert because I know you have such a great business and you have great ideas for women in our age group. So,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
you're very welcome. So let's start with online dating. And I think a lot of
Okay.
women look to that as, and it's, probably the best place to start. And I'd like you to talk about that. And then maybe give us a couple of tips on, the best sites that you think would work for women in our
hmm
age group.
Okay, that'll be great. Online dating is
Yes.
actually one of the best places to meet men over 50, 60, and even 70. I've had clients in their 70s meet men online. The key is being open about the experience. And one of
Mm.
the biggest things that women have a hard time with is they go online and when they meet five guys and they think, oh, nobody worked out. They have to have the tools and the skills, and that's what I teach women. They have to have the tools and the skills to get back out there and to do it again.
Yeah.
And it takes meeting a lot of men. So a great example is in my own life. The man that I'm with now, I would say I set an intention. Third, I was going to be in a committed relationship, and I probably met 30 men. I really
Wow.
did.
Wow.
Yeah. So the hardest part for women over 60 is they don't feel as good about themselves and they feel like they're competing with women in their 20s. And there are some men that will date younger women, but most men want a woman in their life who they can have a history, who they have history
Yeah.
with. Like they
Yep.
share the significant events that happen in their lifetimes. And men may try 20-year-olds and then they come back.
Right.
So the key to getting noticed online, and this is for any age, is you have to have the very best picture possible and smile. I talk to a lot of men and they tell me women are grumpy looking and that's terrible, because men are attracted to your smile. They love when a woman is happy. They really do. And when you're happy, they want that happiness too.
So let's just go
Yeah.
back 1 second because I want to go back to that
Mhm.
beginning about the numbers game because you
Yes.
just surprised me. I mean, I must admit I have tried a little bit of online dating in the past, not too
Uh-huh.
recently, but I have had the same experience you mentioned where you go out and it's just not that interesting or the person isn't at all like they said they would be. They don't look the same. They whatever. So, but I mean. 30 people, I would give up at maybe three, seriously. So that, so, so that numbers game, I think that's a good message that you've got to keep being committed to looking.
Yes, you have to be committed. You have to take breaks. There were
Okay.
times I took breaks.
Mm.
Even knowing the tools and skills to use, I needed a break because it can be hard because we want to think that guy's going to drop out of the sky. We want to think the perfect guy will drop out of the sky. And we also have huge expectations when we read profiles. I mean, how many times have you read a profile and you go, he's perfect, but he really isn't when you meet him because what they write, they mean, but it doesn't necessarily match
Right.
who they are when you meet.
Right.
Does
So
that make
it
sense?
absolutely makes sense. So then I wanted to go ahead now to the online profile because assuming that we've made that decision that we're going to go out there and have a go to meet someone and be in a committed relationship, profile picture is first.
Picture
Smile.
is first. You have 10 seconds to get a man's attention.
Yes.
And a lot of men don't read profiles, but so when they don't read a profile, they're going by your picture. So you have to have a fantastic picture. I suggest spending a little money, and it can be fairly inexpensive. You could get a good photographer, maybe like 100 American dollars. Let them give you the pictures and let them take pictures of you with the correct lighting.
Right.
Don't overcorrect flaws. Like they can lighten up, we all look at ourselves and we go, wrinkles, wrinkles, wrinkles. Don't let them overdo it to fix it. You want to still look natural
Right.
and age appropriate. You don't want to look 20 because you're not 20. And
Right.
they're going to say when they meet you, you don't look like your picture, but you do want to look like your picture.
Right.
So
So picture. So
that's
what about a full body picture? Should we do that as well?
yes, you because a lot of people when they just take a picture from here up,
Mm-hmm.
men go, they're hiding something.
Right.
So the first picture should be your face. The
Right.
second picture, a full body picture. Wear clothing that flatters your best assets. We all have something that's our best. We may not recognize it, but we have something that is our best. And use that. Um, Wear clothing that makes you feel fantastic. And then get photographed in that clothing
Okay. And smile.
and smile when then your eyes twinkle, and even though we're going wrinkles, 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 a man's going, oh my
Right.
god, look how happy she looks, her eyes twinkle.
That's really cool. Good
Mm-hmm.
advice. Okay, so I've got my picture taken. I guess the next step is a profile. I know we're going to talk a bit about profiles in detail later, but what kind of
Mm-hmm.
general guidelines on profiles? And then where do we go? Which site?
Okay. Um, I do want to say something about online dating first, really
Okay.
quick. A lot of people think, oh my God, I'm going to slap up a profile and they're going to come. Some guys come, some guys don't. Some guys are good guys, some guys aren't. The key is knowing, really understanding who men are. There are a lot of other skills you want to have. It's not just about putting a profile up there,
Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
about having your confidence, because your confidence shines through in your profile, and it shines through in the twinkle
Yeah.
in your eye and your smile. It's about understanding men and using that in your profile. It's about understanding the etiquette of online dating. And these are so many of the things that I teach women, because it's not just putting the profile up. And that's what people think is most
Right.
important.
Right.
But back to your question. So when you put a profile up, you really want it to be no more than 3 paragraphs. Just briefly, it should be a paragraph about who you are. Make it sound fun. You don't want to go, I love cooking, I love baking. A guy doesn't care. That's boring. If you want to cook or you want to bake for him, make it into a little story and put it at the end. So the first paragraph, a little about you, a little about who you're looking for, and then a little story that a guy goes, oh my God, I can imagine myself with this person.
Okay, tell us a bit about stories because I mean I know that this is the way to sell anything. You don't want to just sell the features and the benefits, but you want to sell the story. So tell us just what you mean by that. That's an interesting comment.
So I really understand who men over 50 and 60 are. They want to be your heroes. So when I had in my profile, the story was, as we are further into our relationship, we're taking a walk and I slip and you grab me. I turn around with adoring eyes and I look at you and say, you're my hero. Oh my God. Men were like, this is me. She's talking about this is me. And because
Oh.
that's what a man wants to be to you. And this is why it's so important to understand men and what it is, who they are, and what triggers them to want to contact you.
Lisa, you have raised a really excellent point. First of all, that was a great story. I don't know if my eyes were
Thank
getting
you.
bigger, but I was like, what? So cool. But that was a great story. But the other thing that a lot of women over 60 are going to say in response to that is, oh, come on, you're kidding. I'm 66 years old and I, don't want man to be my hero. For goodness sake, they're going to be, the
I
feminist is going to
understand.
come out. So how would you respond to that?
So when I write about this topic, women get very heated about it. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is on my website, a lot of men follow me, which was really surprising, but they will come to my defense and be my hero. And they will say to
Well,
these women, you need to listen to what she's saying. Because you don't have to give up your power to have a man be your hero. What you're doing is when you bring out the best in a
yeah.
man, he's going to bring out the best in you. And the key that we were not taught from the feminist movement is to do that and to learn how to let a man be
Yeah.
in our life.
Yeah.
And believe me, I was one of the biggest feminist people. I am woman, let me roar, and I can do it all, and I can do it better than a man and faster than a man. And I used to thrive on that. And the
Yeah.
problem is that shuts men out. And so when you think about, oh, she's just saying, give up my power and just lay down and be a patsy. No, you could have a ton more power coming into your true femininity that and allowing men to be men in your lives, so you can date a lot more men too.
Yeah.
When you understand this concept.
No, this is very, very good. And I mean, we will encourage people to get in touch with you because you do workshops and all kinds of other webinars, and it's great to have this insight. But specifically related to options, where do we go? Give us an example of like 2 sites that you think are particularly good for women in their 60s.
I think there's about 3 sites I'm going to mention.
Great.
Four actually, very quickly. Match.com has a lot of people on there because there's this perception that if you pay, the people are higher quality. It's not necessarily true, but they are higher. There are a lot of men on there.
There's more of them. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yep.
There's also niche sites like JDate, Christian Mingle, these type of sites. Also, there's a lot of people, they're looking for a specific culture or religion to be in. Plenty of Fish is a free site. It's a great site. You get a lot of men contacting you that really think you're great. And the key is in your profile, you need to have some type of sorting filter that keeps the guys that you don't want from contacting you. So that's the difference about using a free site.
So is that part of the sign up process on Plenty of Fish? Is it gives you options to sort of tag?
You have to do it in your profile. I teach women to put in their profile specific words that help key into who you are. And if you want a certain kind of guy, like that it's really helpful. Then there's also Our Time, which a lot of is specifically geared for people over 50. And then there's about How About We, which actually, Margaret, you introduced me to.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. And that's a possibility too.
Yeah. So the ones, if somebody was to choose either a site where there's lots of men from lots of ages, or a site like, I know, like the Senior Friend Finder, and then I think the one, Our Time, I think you mentioned. If you just were going to go for, if you were going to go for just one, which one would you choose? And is it okay to be on 2?
Yes. So I suggest being on number 1, Plenty of Fish or OkCupid. I think a free site is great because there are still men out there that they know about these free sites and they're not going to pay to go on a dating site. So you're going to get a lot more response. The problem with paid dating sites is not, even though there may be a bazillion pictures, not everybody can write to you. Unless you've paid, they can't write. And even if you write to them, which I don't always encourage. I have a way to get their attention that's different from absolutely writing them. It usually doesn't work out, but there's no way for them to get your mail if they're not a member. So I would definitely do a free site, and then you could do a paid site.
Okay.
And try a paid site for a month. Don't try it for a super long time. I know it's more expensive to do it 1 month at a time, but see if it's a site that's getting you any type of getting you noticed. And if you like the guys on there.
Okay. This is good advice. And I think we're going to do another video and talk a little bit more about just how to, interact once you get those people interested in you. But I think at this point, it's really useful to know, like you've said at the beginning, fantastic introduction to the whole mindset that you have to enter into. And, it is. Yeah, it's a switch. And also, what the options are in terms of free. So there's Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, and then the ones that are paid, like Match, or the specialty cultural, religious focused ones.
And can I mention one more quick thing about matchmakers?
Yes.
I have had a lot of women go to matchmakers and it hasn't been really successful. It's very expensive. It's not successful. And there's a couple reasons I feel for that. One, a lot of men over 50, they don't need to go pay for a matchmaker. They have enough people that will introduce them to people. And so women get on there and they're finding they're not getting dates. The second thing is they still don't have the tools with men and how to interact with these men to get second and third dates. So the key is knowing what to do, because when you're frustrated, that is what you're going to need, that reserve to pick yourself back up. And after your 3 dates, go back out there and do 10 times more. So
okay, I'm bracing myself. Okay, Lisa, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your help with this, and we'll
Margaret,
talk to you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Take care.